I'm in the shot.
Yes.
I'm sorry I'm small. Like, I'll move it with my foot.
Yeah, the tripod's a bit... It's badly sized, shall we say.
Welcome to our couch.
Yes.
We have some bad news for you. I didn't go see it.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where I saw it and she didn't, because the timing was just not right for her to be able to go.
Yeah, I really am crunching in uni. I'm trying to get a paper revised so it can be submitted for publication by the end of the week. And then I'm writing freelance ad copy for Black Friday to make as much money as possible this week. So that ends Friday, so.
Yeah. And I,
you know, money.
And this was the half price day. I did not want to spend...
Because she called me up. I was in the library and she called me up, so I had to dash out. Like, it's actually really nice. There's 2 computer labs. There's the talking side and then there's not talking side, which people talk on anyway because they're fuckers. But, like, it's like this glass thing, and so I had to run out into the little stairwell between. And she was like, I have bad news. The timing is this. And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? Well, I guess we can go see it next week. No, we'll be in England next week. Oh. Yeah. I said, well, do you want to go on a different day? And you said...
I don't want to spend full price to see Justice League. Yeah, we were supposed to see it earlier on, but it's done so poorly that they got rid of one of its showings on the half price day. And
yeah, your original plan was like, what, to go at 3 and then come home for a tea?
Yeah.
So I came home and I made curry and then she just ate it.
So I had to go at 6 at the 3D showing, and I was showing my proper MCU-ness by wearing my... Avengers 2 Age of Ultron 3D glasses that I got.
Take that, DC.
I didn't even realize this had a 3D release until I saw it on the website. Although the 3D for the Marvel trailers that were before it, and they had Black Panther and then they had Last Jedi and stuff before it, but the 3D was terrible, and those you had the bit still. If there was something central in the image, it was okay. Everything else, though, was doubled and shaking.
I hate that. I remember once we were watching a 3D film, I forget what it was, and then I was like, oh, I love you. Oh no, everything went out of sync when I turned my head.
But the 3D in this was okay. I'm really glad that I didn't have to spend to see like the large cinema prices for this, because no fucking way.
Did you get a huge thing of popcorn?
No, I didn't get any popcorn. I got some Diet Coke, but it tasted weird, so I didn't drink any of it.
Fair enough. Maybe the mix was off between the
yeah, there's something.
The stuff. Anyway,
this one, basically, we've probably seen this already, or actually, look at the numbers, you probably haven't.
You've probably watched other people's reviews of it.
There was literally
what does Chris Stuckman think? What does Movie Bob think?
There was literally about 3 people in my screening. This was 6 in the evening.
Yeah, she texted me. She's like, there's 5 minutes to go before the film, and I'm the only one in the theater.
It was good. Whenever I walked in there, about 10 minutes to go before the showing began, and I saw it was empty, I fucking laughed.
Lol.
But, okay, it's better than Batman vs. Superman, but at the same time, it's a lot less interesting. Batman vs. Superman is interestingly terrible. I mean, it was trying to do shit and failing.
I forget most of that movie, except, like, the big parts of it.
Well, this is just generic. It's...
Where that creepy part where they both got in the bathtub and he still had his trousers and his shirt. Like, stop it! Your jeans are gonna No! It's not sexy! The water's lukewarm. Ugh.
But this one is basically... a very crap MCU film. I mean, Wonder Woman...
Would you say it's better than the Marvel Netflix properties?
I'll make a direct comparison here. One of the minor characters in this, who was minor pointless characters, of which there are many, was Roose Bolton from Game of Thrones. And I have to say, like father, like son, because, you know, Ramsay Bolton was in Marvel's Inhumans, and these two do not have good luck in choosing comic book properties to be part of.
Waff. Yeah, like, she was watching Inhumans the other day while she was editing, and I was playing, I think I was playing Sonic Mania again. And I was like, what are you watching on Humans? The dialogue's really bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is like trauma level. No, it's not even trauma level dialogue. It's like film school dialogue.
Softcore porn dialogue.
Yeah. It's like when we saw 13th Child, Legend of the Jersey Devil, like me and my friend went to go see it in the theater, and she turned to me and she said, "This is really bad acting. This isn't even porn acting. This is LARP acting." And that's what I feel in Inhumans.
Yeah, Inhumans is easily the worst thing the MCU has done. You know, Iron Fist is a fucking masterpiece in comparison.
What?
But this, Bruce Bolton's of it, you've got, okay, Wonder Woman when she's being a civilian, like at the end of Wonder Woman, she's clearly living in France. She's living in Paris. And then when she's a civilian, she seems to still be in Paris, you know, working at the Louvre.
Fair play.
However, every time she's by herself, just randomly stopping crimes, it's always in fucking London, so I'm not sure if the film thinks that these are the same places or not.
Maybe she takes the Channel every morning. You can. I think like the Eurostar will do it in like an hour.
Yeah, but it costs a lot, and you got.
But she's Wonder Woman though.
Paris is near
like, hey Bruce, I need to go to London for the day. Every day.
London's like an hour on the train from the south coast. Plus, there's the whole international customs thing. Then you've got to get to Paris.
She probably like
invisible jet. I know.
Bulgaria is in the EU, so she probably.
It's just
she can't go to London for free after Brexit. Maybe she's going to foil books.
It's just a crappy MCU film. And the villain, Steppenwolf, played by Kieran Hines, who's going to be Sir John Franklin in The Terror, coming soon from AMC.
Gee, honey, it seems like that's familiar to me. Have you talked about The Terror before?
Yes, in the Basics of the Franklin Expedition videos.
You should link the playlist. Here's a whole vlog about Justice League, but watch my historical playlist.
Well, they don't do the annotations anymore, so I would have to...
in the description box.
If I remember...
Check in the description box below.
If I remember. But Steppenwolf...
Google it!
Who is apparently... Like, I'm much less up on DC than I am with Marvel.
Steppenwolf isn't bad.
Yes, but in this, he is an alien from the planet Apocalypse. He is...
The planet's called Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
In English.
This is how it's spelled.
What? I have to see where the... Oh, it's going to be really crazy, isn't it?
Apokalips, I think.
Oh my god, that's such a 14-year-old in like...
14-year-old new metal band
No, in
thing.
like the margin of their notebook. Like, oh, and he comes from the planet Apocalypse.
Yep.
That sounds really cool. It's spelled different.
Yep.
Oh, it's so bad. And actually, I think the word apocalypse, I think that's probably Greek. Greek roots.
Something like that.
Yeah. But why? I don't like that. That's not right. Did they evolve to speak ancient Greek? Did they evolve to speak Greco-Roman, like, influenced English?
Well,
I have so many questions.
The guys on Apocalypse are the new gods, who are alien race, and the leader is Darkseid.
Oh, I've heard of Darkseid.
Darkseid, who was the inspiration for Thanos from Marvel. And side is not spelt the way you think it is.
No.
And,
because when I was little, I remember, I know I've said this before in other videos of ours, I bought a Justice League comic book one time. Like when I was like 6 or 7. No, I was older than that. Joanna was born. So I must have been 7 or 8. So the mid-80s. And like, it was like, part of Mom was like, go on and you know, get some magazines. We were going down the shore. And I picked up a comic book because it had like Wonder Woman and Superman in it. And they were fighting like a guy, and I thought it was Darkseid because it was E-I-D. And I was like, that must be pronounced seed because when two balls go walking, the first one does the talking. And like, and I know I've said, I actually tweeted at Lewis being like, what was this? But in this issue, like, his followers were handing out little tokens saying that he was going to come back. So then, like, the heroes had to go to, like, old, like, gray retired superheroes who, like, had to fight him for some reason. And then, like, the woman, like, makes this impassionate plea to give her his son back because apparently, like, her son was killed by Darkseid. But then, like, Darkseid, like, regresses into a baby and she, like, has him. And I don't know, it was weird.
Okay.
If you know what I'm talking about, write the show.
Anyway, Darkseid's uncle is Steppenwolf, who apparently is leader of his armies and he like, conquers planets and sort of terraforms and makes them part of his empire. He tried that in the distant past.
Really great soundtrack.
Possibly. But in the distant past, he tried this, but he was stopped by the last alliance of men and elves. Men of Amazons, Atlanteans, and like some Green Lanterns. And
there were elves?
No, but I was making a joke.
Oh,
last alliance of men and elves.
Okay.
I was making a Lord of the Rings joke.
Yeah, well, but Warhammer space. There's space.
Amazons
elves.
are basically elves.
That's why I asked. You have to be clear.
Anyway, they stopped the invasion and they stole his power source, the mother boxes, which, yeah, sounds very MILF porn.
Are they actually Royal Dance biscuit tins, and they're full of buttons and other sewing implements?
No, they're basically like the Tesseract if they were designed by the Borg. And there's 3 of them, and you put them together, it creates the Unity, which is terraforms the planet.
It would have been less silly if it created the Triforce.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, what is it? It's the Tesseract. Oh wow, what is it? It's one of the Infinity Stones. Oh wow, I know, right? What's that?
It's my mother box. I can put it together to form a unity, and then I get +5 on all of my rolls for the rest of the turn.
And Steppenwolf says things like, Mother is calling me. Because he can feel where they are, and he's like going towards them.
That is so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh
yes.
my god. Is her name Martha?
They never have a point where Batman and Aquaman bond over the fact that both their dads are called Thomas.
Is that true?
Yes.
Wait a minute, Thomas the Atlantean?
Thomas Wayne and Thomas Curry.
Well, Thomas Curry the Atlantean? I thought your man's supposed to be...
Aquaman is half Atlantean. His dad was from the surface world.
What was his mother?
Atlantean.
Does she have fins?
No, they live under the sea and can swim.
And a pineapple? See, I feel like I have to be extra funny because I didn't go. Because I stayed here making curry and writing ad copy.
But Steppenwolf... Okay, everyone's insulting Steppenwolf for being a crap villain, and he is, but... He was defeated last time, and he was like exiled or something from the New Gods, and he's like, I want to go home to hang out with my people because I'm really old and I'm tired and I was defeated and I don't want to be defeated anymore. So like he's just annoyed, and he's like, I want to grab these things and just finish this job. I was kept, for 5,000 years from able to finish my job.
Where was he being kept?
Somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
But the most annoying thing about Steppenwolf is, okay, he's 12 foot tall and in this really stupid looking armor, but he's made of CGI. And it's okay CGI, but he just looks like a guy in crap prosthetics. It's like they CGI'd a Star Trek alien in silly armor.
Did they actually, make him look like he was in a practical effect?
No, he looks like a regular, because he's played by a white actor, so he looks like a Caucasian with minimal prosthetics, but he's made of CGI.
Oh.
It's like, why not just get an actor and use forced perspective and stuff to make him look big and impressive? Why did you CGI him? I mean, with Thanos, I don't think they should have CGI'd Thanos, but I can understand it because the guy's giant and purple. With this, plus he has a weirdly shaped chin. But, Steppenwolf, he's got a weirdly shaped chin, but less weird, and he just looks like a white guy in armor.
But tell us about the spoilers, that being Henry Cavill's mustache.
There was one bit where I watched, okay, the mustache, it's like, mostly it's just like, oh god, that's bad. But there was one bit where he smiled at Lois Lane and he looked like the Joker, and I was like, I wasn't being silly. I literally sort of recoiled at this sight. It's like, oh god.
Why so serious?
Going into this, I did not.
Were there any Jared Leto cameos?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Going into this, I did not expect Cyborg to end up my favorite character, but he managed it simply because he was either low level or high level pissed off about everything, and it's just like, I completely understand how you're feeling.
In the YouTube clip that Wonder Woman watches in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, isn't he being cybernized against his will?
He was in an explosion.
Because it makes it look like his dad's like, don't worry, son, we'll play catch in a moment.
Well, he was in an explosion that killed his mom, and he was almost dead, and his dad was this roboticist.
Was it terrorism, or is it, standard?
They don't say. It just, it was an explosion. Okay.
Because, you do,
And then he used the mother box in the thing to create a new body.
Cyborg have a motherboard?
But he's basically, powered by it, and he's just develops new powers as he goes along. Closest analogy, yes. Like an angry Vision. But
Vision built with spit and
he's
steel.
constantly developing new things, and he doesn't know how to handle them, and he's got these other influences in his brain. It's like a Vision crossed with Ultron, but angry and not bad.
Yeah.
Because you mentioning the video thing there is a bit in Justice League where
They watch YouTube?
Cyborg insinuates, I don't think he flat out says, but he insinuates heavily that he was sort of created, cyberized on the night Superman died. Which, if you remember, and just...
Wait a minute!
If you remember, that was already existing footage that was watched before he died. Yeah.
This is why you don't announce the DLC before you've put the game out.
And then you've got... Okay, Batfleck looks really silly whenever you see him like taking off random parts of his costume, because there's a bit where he's taking off his cowl and his cape.
Does he perform like a bat strip?
No, he's sort of injured after a fight. It's like Superman, injured him because Superman came back to life and he was really pissed off about everything because last thing he remembers, he was like fighting things. But he,
I did that one time to my cat. He was having a dream and he was like twitching in his sleep and I was like, oh, and then he goes, ah, rawr, and he like all 4 paws and claws and teeth, and I was like, ah, and he looked at me like, I don't know what happened, and he was gone.
Basically. So, but you see, Batfleck, he takes off the cowl, he takes off the cape, and then you see him like he's pulling up part of like the top part of his costume.
Someone upset me in the back.
And it looks like he's got a really crap version of a 1930s unitard, which, to be fair, that's what Batman would be wearing in the original comics. But
he's Bruce Wayne. He can afford like really nice like Under Armour kind of like sports equipment.
You'd think so, but
I mean, like I'm right now. You don't realize this. I'm wearing a sports top because it's insulated and it's nice. And then, so I must be Batman.
And then he upgrades his costume. You see him with a new costume that looks just like the Night Owl from Watchmen's costume, where I swear with the sort of extra raised bit, they're a different color. It looks just like what do you call him? George Clooney's ice costume from Batman vs. Robin. And Batfleck, they've cut down on the angry, brooding and stuff. They've given him silly lines and tried to make him charming. So he comes across basically as Ben Affleck being George Clooney in Batman vs. Robin.
But the best thing about George Clooney in Batman and Robin was the fact that he was George Clooney. So...
And then you got random things like... Because this was originally supposed to be 2 films. Apparently it was supposed to be 1 Justice League film, and then there was going to be a second film to follow up, sort of like they're doing with Avengers Infinity War. Mm-hmm. But then the studio were like, oh no, we're going to have to completely change all this because we don't want to do that, and they cut it down to 1 film, and then they cut it like half an hour, and they made Joss Whedon rewrite and refilm a lot. So there's a lot of stuff that you would think was going to get paid off that doesn't. Like Commissioner Gordon does nothing in the film. Nothing at all.
I resent my presence here.
So I think what happened was he had bits there, and he had other bits in the Zack Snyder version. It was going to be stuff in the second one. But when they came back to refilm all this stuff, they didn't have the money to also refilm the scenes. Basically, it made him extraneous. But they didn't have the extra money just to refilm this bit just to remove him. So they just kept him there, even though he does nothing.
This CGI, there's just for some reason a tall potted plant in the middle of the scene, and no one was like...
I think it was...
You know what they should do? So the director of Wonder Woman, they should give her Birds of Prey, but she'd make it good.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm talking about. Was it 1 season or 2?
1.
There was 1 season. It was I think it was on the WB, and it was called Birds of Prey. And I bought it on DVD because we had it for $5 the entire season at Barnes & Noble when I worked there. And we were just, I was like, oh look, I will watch an episode because I've heard it is bad and say funny things about it online like you do, wife. Okay, we weren't married then, but you know what I mean. But I actually only watched like 1 episode. Because I still have it on DVD, Region 1.
That has Mark Hamill doing the voice of a live-action Joker. That's quite odd. But at the very start of this, you've got Batman, like, basically it looks like a crap remake of the very start of the first Batman film, like the Tim Burton one. So you got Batman...
they show his parents dying again.
No.
Okay.
This one, it's, the bit on the rooftop where he's, like, takes on the criminals and he's I'm Batman, to them. It's like a crap version of that where he gets this robber and he gets him covered in the I don't know, bat rope or whatever, and throws him over the edge, and then he's, like, hanging there, and he's got this, like, detector thing seeing the guy's fear level go up, and then he knows a parademon, which is these insectoid creatures that work for Steppenwolf, appears, and so he's just holding there as bait to get the parademon. And the parademon attacks, and it drags Batman to another building several blocks away, halfway, half as tall a building. The other guy, the criminal, was left on the other roof. Then, after Batman kills the parademon, well, he captures it and then it commits suicide. Then the criminal walks out of the shadows and is like, has a conversation with Batman. And it's just like, you were left on a skyscraper half a mile away, what the fuck? And he's kept in deep shadow.
Maybe he was cut out by the Joker who then skunked away.
Yeah, but how did he get there? The Batman was flying. I can only guess that. Well, they had him. They had him in.
What if like Batman got the rope caught around his foot? So Batman's like, "Whoa, funny!" And the guy's like, "Yeah."
There was no evidence of that in the flying scene.
That would have been awesome.
The shot was artificially dark with that guy, and it was only done in far distance things. I think they're trying to convince you it wasn't him because they realized this was a continuity error, and I think this was multiple things that were cut down, and he was supposed to end up in the back of the original part or something, but in the film, this is a fucking brilliantly terrible continuity error. There's just so much crap. Like, one of the early bits of this is some small children having a conversation with Superman that they're filming on their camera phone, and to their credit, they finally got... Joss Whedon can apparently direct Henry Cavill as an actual Superman instead of, like, you know, brooding flying man. And so he was acting like proper Superman. Unfortunately, that was nothing like what Superman was in the previous films. And even more unfortunately, because someone at some point decided to artificially lighten the footage because the Snyder Superman suit was designed to be lit dark. And you can tell. So this footage, either it was artificially lightened or it was always meant to be lightened. But as a result, you can see the painted on muscles on his suit to accentuate it because it was a bright daylight and everything was really bright. And it's just like, oh, and he's got the mustache problem. So it's like, oh my god, this is the
Hello, children.
This is so surreal. And
is Lois Lane still in it, or did she die?
yeah, she's in it.
Okay.
She's in it. Basically, Superman goes nuts after he gets resurrected, and
Is
then they bring her out.
Is Amanda Waller in it?
No.
She'd be like, I'm always skulking.
They bring Lois Lane
skulking,
out to calm Superman down because Batman decides that the best thing to do is resurrect Superman using the power of a mother box because they can do that, and they have to get fired with supercharging electricity from the Flash because he creates electricity as he runs. In the same sort of bath stuff that Lex Luthor used to resurrect.
See, we were talking about this at work, The Flash, me and two people that I work with. And I asked my friend Johnny, and I was like, listen, so, like, all that electricity, like, you know, all that stuff, is that he's moving so fast that he's disrupting electrons? And Johnny's like, no, it's because he got struck by lightning, but that'd be really cool, though.
That's apparently the Speed Force or something's causing that.
Oh, I thought it was just... like, physics-wise, he's moving so quickly, he's disrupting electrons from their orbits.
That might be what they're intending, but he's not moving that fast because there's some bits where his speed is so inconsistent, and he's definitely not running that fast. And the way that the Flash speed bits are handled, it's better than Age of Ultron. It's not as good as X-Men.
Yes, what to say is like, but your man who basically like...
It's not as good as Evan Peters as Quicksilver.
Hold on a second. Let me put a soundtrack on because you're going to love the shit out of the next 5 minutes. Are you watching cinematography Oscars?
Yeah, I would love to see a re-edit of the X-Men Apocalypse and Days of Future Past just to remove the fucking headphones. Oh my god.
That's his thing.
I know, but the headphones like that the headphones and tapes and all like that did not exist in 1973. It didn't.
They had 8 tracks. They had portable 8 tracks. If you were alive in 1973 at the show.
It's physically impossible. Plus,
no, there was such a thing.
No, the thing, the system he's got set up, plus the fact that he's listening to this song, which kind of means he sped it up several 1000%. It's beyond the technology. No, because here's the thing. Sound still moves at the rate of sound. Like, light always moves at the rate of light. Right? So, he's listening to the thing is on him. The sound is coming out of the thing. It's still going at its same rate of speed. It's like light still moves at the same rate for him. Physics. Okay, so George Cham and another guy, but George Cham is the cartoonist behind Piled Higher and Deeper, PhD Comics, wrote a book called, it's like Not What We Don't Know Nothing. It's really good, but it's about history. No. Don't give me a look. No, I'm completely... You got your look and you're like, I'm building up to my big point. I'm completely baffled as to how he can be hearing the song at a proper rate if it's not being sped up. Because sound will always move at the same rate. So sound is moving at its rate and he's moving faster than it. Yeah, but it's going with him. Yeah, but
It's on his person.
Yeah, but he carries people and they don't get affected. They don't sort of become part of his speed field or whatever it is. So I don't see how it would affect his headphones.
Because he'd still be perceiving it at this, like, it wouldn't suddenly, like, stop. Sound moves very quickly.
Yeah, but
sound moves faster than we do.
He's moving for instance.
But anyway, the book is by George Chem, and it's about the history of physics and a lot of, like, really, really great quantum physics, how we don't know anything about the universe. It's really great. Check it out. But like, it just...
I don't see how he could listen to the song without it speeding it up. Having the copy that he's got sped up several %,000 to make it the right speed, because it can't go as fast as he is. It can't be in the same speed thing as him because it's not part of his body.
It's not fast. Sound doesn't travel faster than the speed of light, but it travels fairly quickly.
Well, yes, but he's listening to the song and he's listening to it and it sounds perfect. And he's moving. Because
it's still his eardrums are still vibrating.
Yes, but he's hearing.
Are you saying that his eardrums are vibrating at a different speed than he is?
No, he's hearing the bits much slower because he's moving. He's perceiving time much faster.
Or it is sped up, and we're hearing it as he hears it.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming they were going for. But then I was saying that technologically, he would have to have a copy of the thing in 1973 in a technology that didn't actually exist in that form, that has been sped up several %,000.
Or it is playing at the regular speed, and even though we would hear it slower, his brain is perceiving it at the correct frequency.
Yeah, but he still wouldn't be hearing the bits. He would only
Who directed this?
Which one?
This one, this X-Men.
X-Men Days of Future Past was Bryan Singer.
If you're listening, write the show. Although don't, because I heard that you do things. But
there's a lovely video on YouTube which is basically the Days of Future Past Quicksilver scene in real time, and it basically takes half a second to do everything. It's literally they fire the guns, then bang, he's just there. He's done everything, and it's like the full 2 minutes odd song put down to half a second. There's no way for him to listen to the song unless he sped up the actual song. Or it's part of his speed field.
I think you think too much. But anyway. Enough about Marvel.
Wonder Woman is basically Wonder Woman, and I was not as blown away by Wonder Woman as most people. It was basically an average MCU film.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm contrary about that.
I mean, like, I wasn't like, oh my god, that was so... Like, I think I said in the vlog, I wish that I could have the experience that a lot of people seem to be having, a lot of women seem to be having, and young girls alike. But I was never very big into Wonder Woman, so I was like, that was good. It wasn't... There were some issues with it, but it wasn't bad. Yeah, okay, yeah. Really liked the island. That was colorful. But like I said, I really wish that I had the overwhelming emotion that... I feel that way about a lot of things. Like, we were talking about The Tick the other day at work, and I was like, that falls into one of those things that, like, everybody really enjoyed and really thinks is funny, but I really didn't get. But I accept that it probably is really funny. It just doesn't match what I like. Like, BoJack Horseman, Rick and Morty, everyone really likes them, so I'm guessing that they're really good. I'm like, I don't see why that's funny. But, to each their own.
I'm trying to think of other groundbreaking things.
I don't think that the Flash looks good because he looks like he's 12. I ain't saying, I'm just saying.
Flash is basically... he's Spectrum. That's what they're going for.
Is he supposed to be in canon?
I have no idea.
Disability appropriation!
He's... I don't know enough about DC to really criticize that. I know that he seems to be a very different...
I'm going to work tomorrow if Johnny's working on it.
He seems to be a very different version of the Flash than the TV version, who... it's based on the same... It's both Barry Allen, but they're very different takes. It's not very good. Oh yeah, the controversy about the Amazons sort of wearing very little for battle in Justice League, and they were sort of right.
You'd think that after some of them got shot with guns, they'd kind of like...
You had the people who are saying, look at this, you got the woman director gives them armor, and then the male director makes them like wear these bikinis, and someone else points out actually that's what they're wearing in their training sequences, and I'm like, okay, both these are fair points. So watching the film though, I definitely spotted some bikini armor, and other ones wearing full armor. So apparently they decided just to cut it, go right in the middle. So it's like, we're going to do the objectification, ridiculous armor thing, but we're also going to do decent armor, just mix and match to make sure everyone's wrong.
If these are like such legendary warriors, like the first time they got massacred by guns, you'd think they'd be like, huh, we need a few upgrades here.
Yeah, you would think that.
Kevlar for everyone, girls.
And they have...
Line up and get them.
They really should be a lot less people in Themyscira now, given all the ones who died in World War I, because they don't actually create new people. At least they might. I don't see how.
They pray to Zeus.
Zeus isn't there, though, anymore to create new ones.
Could they not get knocked up by regular?
They'd have to capture people and bring them over.
I see no
it's like the Wicker Man.
It is.
I'm talking about the remake Wicker Man, not the actual Wicker Man, the good one.
Yeah, if anyone knows how Amazons reproduce, I mean, obviously Beyond a Man and a Woman love each other very much. Thank you very much. Let us know.
In the original comics, she was created out of dust by Zeus and stuff. They could have done.
She was different though. She was different than the others.
But in the new film version, they went for the newer comic one, which is she's literally the daughter of Zeus. So that's crap.
I'm sure they've got some way to get by.
Oh, there is one bit
Find a way.
There's one bit that was quite amusing, where Aquaman starts doing this speech. It's a typical movie speech thing. Blah blah blah. He's like talking.
It only takes a few minutes to be a shrimp.
But he's talking about how we're all probably gonna die before we can stop, before we can save the world. But it's okay to die beside good friends. I've lived all my life as a loner, and he gives this huge speech.
I said something rapey at a convention,
and then it goes on, and he starts talking about each person there, and it's like you're not sure if this is normal film bullshit.
But the problem really is the microplastics in the sea. Now, if I could just bring down a chart.
But then it goes on just for long enough, and you're like, something's going on here, and then it turns out he's sitting on the lasso of truth, and so it's making him tell the truth.
Stupid.
It was amusing at the time. It's clearly Joss Whedon, so it was like, okay, yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was sitting on your lasso there. Said something rapey at a convention. But, so is he going all Captain Planet on people, or is that not so much a thing?
But he did have a nice point where Batman was talking...
let's discuss Wayne Enterprises and their pollution level. Let's talk about your carbon bat footprint.
Batman tracks him down to this
carbon bat prints.
This little village, probably in Greenland or Iceland or something, and he's having a conversation, and Bruce Wayne immediately tells me he's Batman and Aquaman's like, lol, he's dressed up like a bat, this is stupid, and then Bruce Wayne's like, the world's in danger, it's going to be destroyed, and then Aquaman, just without missing a beat, says, yeah, well, global warming's also a problem, I don't care if the world gets more ocean, good for me.
Fair point. Did the good guys win?
Yeah, the villain.
Spoilers, apparently they don't.
Steppenwolf is defeated in the exact same way as Spider-Smith from Lost in Space. In that, remember Lost in Space, that classic 1996, the British VHS release had the great little advertising thing, more special effects than Star Wars. That was to make you watch the film. And this film... The Spider-Smith he was turned into an alien space spider, and these spiders,
his name was already Spider.
No, his name was Zachary. He became Spider-Smith has been mutated into a giant spider. Have you not seen Lost in Space?
I saw,
Now you have to watch Lost in Space.
I've seen some of the TV episodes from, back in the day.
This is the remake film.
But I heard it was shitty, so I didn't go see it.
It's got a lot of cool little things, but it is very stupid. Anyway, Spider-Smith is killed because these spiders have this genetic thing which is spotted partway through, that if one of them gets wounded, the other ones will eat them. I don't know why this is considered an evolutionary advantage, that you stop during an attack to eat your own people, but they do that. And then Spider-Smith is wounded, and therefore they eat him. And then he falls into a time vortex and be disintegrated.
That's so stupid.
In this film, Steppenwolf gets his axe, his magic space axe gets broken whenever Superman freezes it, and then Wonder Woman hits it with something and it shatters, and he feels fear, and so the parademons who work for him are attracted to fear, and they want to attack it, and so they all attack him, and then they get sucked up into this crappy bee asylum version of the Bifrost. So he gets sucked up, and he's getting eaten by his own people for being afraid, and it's just that's the land from Lost in Space.
I think I got the better end of the deal tonight.
Probably.
Sitting at home writing ad copy and eating curry.
Anyway, that was that. There's other stuff. It was not good.
What's our big next thing?
Well, we have a couple of patron vlogs to do, but
no, I meant like release schedule. Well, Disaster Artist is coming. Well, here's the thing: Disaster Artist is coming out in a few weeks. But I have a friend down in the Republic, and she and her boyfriend want to come up and see it, and then be involved in the vlog.
Oh, that is almost out of power.
And I know I've been keeping an eye on it the whole time.
No, that.
Oh.
That's the memory.
Well, shit. Goodbye.